This is the website of Trinity Teen Solutions. It is all smiling and beautiful, and they have holistic treatment programs. Look at their website, and read the great things they do. Here's another website. This one is called Provo Canyon. It is a special school for troubled teen children. Here it also is all smiles and very good reviews. There are more of these institutions. This is the Turnabout Ranch, a place where you can send your troubled teen children. Located in a real ranch, with beautiful surroundings. They also have wonderful treatments for your troubled child. And it is supported by Dr.PhiI, from TV, so this must be good, right? You might ask, how did I find these institutions, and what made me wanting to do a video about this? Herefore, I have to go back a couple of months. I was browsing TikTok for funny videos, when I found this account. Meet this lovely young woman, her name is Maggie Higgins, and this was the first video I watched of her.
Yes, so most of us were legally kidnapped. Basically how that works for most people is that two large, very fit people will come into your room at 4 a.m. They'll basically tell you to get your clothes on and that you're going with them. In some cases, they'll handcuff kids, they'll put boots on them. Program kids will often refer to these people as a goon squad or that they got gooned. The people that do this don't directly work for the treatment center that they're transporting you to. It's usually a third-party company that's hired by your parents but recommended by the programs. The place that transported me is called Touchdown, and this is their website. It's actually not working anymore, but this is on the archive. I consider myself lucky because I wasn't taken from my bed in the middle of the night. I was at a treatment center immediately before Trinity, so I had no time in between, so the transport people just came to the center and picked me up. A lot of people did fight them, but I didn't. They were, adults, and I was a 15-year-old. I knew I needed help. And they threatened me that if I was going to fight them, that they would tackle me to the ground, they would handcuff me, and they would drag me through the airport and make a scene. And I knew I couldn't fight them. Like, I was a 15-year-old girl, and these were adults that were telling this to me. If I had known anything about Trinity Teen Solutions before, I probably would have fought, but I didn't know anything. All I knew was I was going to a place that had horses, and I loved horses. That's why my parents chose Trinity, so I was not that upset about it. I'll tag Anna in this video. She actually was taken in the middle of the night from her bed, and she let me share this with you guys. This is basically her parents planning with the company for her to get legally kidnapped. So, pause to read. The place that I was at before Trinity was in Arlington Heights, Illinois, so they put me in a van, took me to the airport. Like I said, they didn't restrain me because I was compliant. Puppy. They did, however, link arms with me through the airport, so like if you're, you're doing a square dance, one on each side, and they made me sit in the middle seat on the plane. So we flew from O'Hare Airport to the Denver airport like that, and then once we were in Denver, there was a bit of a layover, then we got on a small plane to go to Cody, Wyoming. Once I was in Cody, they handed me off at the airport to two women in their 20s, and they drove me to Trinity.
For the first time in my internet life, I was shocked. I had to absorb this into my mind. This was just way too crazy. And I had to give myself a timeout. What happened to this girl? After Googling the Trinity Teens website, I did another search and was appalled by the results. What is wrong with these parents? I will come back to that later. Many Americans who spent time as teenagers in residential facilities that rely on tough love treatments to change behaviors are becoming more vocal in denouncing what they say are institutional abuses. Their call for cracking down on the previously lightly regulated troubled teen industry is getting amplified by movements like Breaking Code Silence, the National Youth Rights Association, and by celebrities who were sent to these programs as teens, such as Paris Hilton.
I have horrible insomnia. I'm scared to go to bed at night. I always have this recurring nightmare, no matter what I do. I'm in bed, and these two people come into my room. And say, do you want this to happen the easy way or the hard way? I'm trying to just run.
She has spoken out against the troubled teen institutions where she says she was abused, kidnapped, solitary confinement, forced medication, and suicide attempts. Those are just some of the chilling recounts of what goes on in America's terrifying troubled teen boot camps that rake in millions of dollars a year. By forcibly taking wayward youths on behavior modification programs, often paid for by their parents, the quote-unquote difficult children are taken from their homes in the middle of the night and dragged to so-called tough love schools where the intention is to character build and break negative behavior patterns. The camps are usually based in Utah and are partially funded by the government, but mostly by parents desperate to get their children back on track, and the camps boast successful testimonies in their marketing brochures and on their websites, like I have shown you at the opening of this video. Former students, who call themselves survivors, have begun to create online communities to support one another and speak out on their horrible experiences, sharing experiences after the suffered abuse at the camps, and where many of them left with PTSD, some even took their own lives afterwards. No, Dr. Phil was not one of the victims. Actually, the famous TV psychologist was one of the people who recommended treatment in one of these places to the parents of some girls who appeared in the show. Boys and girls were kidnapped and shipped to Turnabout Ranch in Escalante, Utah, though were not allowed to interact with each other and received punishment if they did. Several of them came out with their stories about terrible treatment, torture, and sexual abuse on the ranch. Others who went there are afraid to tell their experiences, still fearing retaliation. Some of the girls broke the silence and sued Dr. Phil as well as CBS over sexual assault of teens on the ranch the good doctor had recommended. One of them was Hannah Archuleta from Colorado. I am not this stupid to use fragments of the Dr. Phil show, because lots of channels got copyright strikes against them for doing so. Fair use is alien to Dr. Phil. But I found some other scenes, which are dramatized in some places, that I can show.
On February 24th, 2021, Hannah Archuleta decided to sue Turnabout Ranch.
At the ranch, I was alone and isolated from all of my family.
The reason is that she was a victim of inappropriate and uninvited contact while she was there, at only 17 years old. According to Hannah's statement, less than 2 weeks after she arrived, a staff member her. Hannah didn't say anything because she feared the consequences. She said, "I was scared of being punished and I hoped that he would not touch me again, and sadly, I was wrong." A few weeks after the first incident, Hannah was touched without consent once again. This time, she reported the incident to another member of the staff, but she didn't get any help. In fact, this only made things worse. She was called a liar, and then she was punished. After she reported the assault, Hannah was forced to spend extra time picking up horse manure. She also had to walk in circles around a horse corral and sit at a desk facing the wall for hours. Recalling this, Hannah said, "I expected to be treated with understanding. Instead, I experienced retaliation from the ranch after I spoke up in what appeared to me to be a punishment for reporting my
On the advice of Dr. Phil, Danielle Bregoli, then 13 years of age, also ended up at Turnabout Ranch. She is also known as rapper Bad Baby, who once sold out the Roxy in Los Angeles with her show. Her time at Turnabout Ranch was less glamorous.
Seen a kid get held down for trying to leave, taken there against my will. It's basically like kidnapping. They strip you from your whole personality. She sets up her question like, oh, this is gonna be funny, like it's a funny matter of him sending children, minors, to a fucking facility where they're getting abused.
She went to Turnabout 4 or 5 years ago, and she had a bad experience.
This ranch is still listed on your website after a lawsuit about a murder, a lawsuit about sexual abuse, and a lawsuit about torture.
We're not involved in that. We don't have any feedback from them. So whatever happens once they're there, that's between them and the facility.
He just said he's not involved in any treatment facility I go to. He's making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Turnabout Ranch, which is a very serious, responsible place for kids to go.
Torture, murder, almost 2 murders, sexual assault. You don't watch the fucking news. Stop acting like you don't watch the fucking news.
She has a long video about her opinion on Dr. Phil. For the people who know the show where Danielle Bregoli appeared, you might have your opinion ready about her, and I really don't care. No one, absolutely no one deserves the treatment they got in this horrifying camp. Camp Trinity again. This is Kelsey, describing the chair punishment of Trinity Teen Solutions. I think this is pure physical and mental torture to completely break someone's personality and make them more compliant, or whatever sick thing they have in mind.
The chair was the worst punishment you could get at Trinity. I was on the chair for a month. I know a girl who was on it for a year. You sit in a metal chair in the corner away from the group. You can't speak, you can't read, you can't write, you cannot do anything. You can only go to the bathroom when they tell you. At night you sleep on the floor next to staff. You can't speak. Life or death, no reason at all. You can't slouch, you can't fall asleep, you can't rest your hand. If you do, they'll give you a bland meal instead of what everyone else is eating, which is a can of olives, can of kidney beans. You ran everywhere with the metal chair in your arms, and while everyone else was doing chores, you had to sit facing away from the group, freezing, just staring. I was a child, and I thought about killing myself every minute of every day for those 30 days, and that was really damaging. I was so desperate to get off. I did perfectly for 2 weeks, and I thought for sure I would get off. I begged my counselor, and he goes, let's just do another 2 weeks just to be sure. This man just playing with my life like he was God.
By now, I think you are very angry, and you should. If you aren't, please leave. A mother who trusted Turnabout Ranch with her teenage daughter summed this up way better than I ever can.
A mother claims in court that sadists and psychopaths at Turnabout Ranch, a residential treatment center in Escalante, subjected her teenage daughter to torture, including hours of stress positions, threats to suffocate her, exposure to animal abuse and regular public humiliation. Elizabeth Verney and her mother, Julia Gordon, sued Turnabout Ranch and Aspen Education Group, both California corporations, in federal court. Turnabout purports to be a Utah-licensed residential treatment center in Escalante. It's owned and operated by the Aspen Group, according to the complaint. Verney, now 22, claims Turnabout subjected her to torture in 2005, when she was 15.
Sadists and psychopaths. The 3 camps I mentioned in this video are only the tip of the iceberg. And the Aspen Education Group shows how big money is involved in horrifying abuse of teenage children. If it makes them rich, they don't give a damn. And something else connects these institutions. They are all calling themselves Christian-based. Knowing Christianity in the USA, it probably is as fanatic as can be. Trinity Teen Solutions, as the Trinity may give it away, is Catholic. Provo Canyon is Mormon, and Turnabout Ranch is Christian, probably the evangelical form. This is also Christian, right? Sorry, not sorry, but I'll pass. This is about all I can take for now, but somehow I think there will come a part 2 to this. Thank you for watching. And for real, share this video. We can at least try and fight this real-life horror movie called Troubled Teen Treatment Camp. Just after finishing this video, I got breaking news. Trinity Teen Solutions closed its activities. Watch this TikTok video by Maggie Higgins.
Children that they've been getting away with for 20 years.
We told you last month about Trinity Teen Solutions, a ranch that promises to help struggling young girls, and 2 women who say they experienced abuse and humiliation during their time there.
I walk in and it looked like a freak show. There were girls tied to each other with lead ropes.
Well, a few weeks after NBC News' investigation, Trinity told the state of Wyoming they're suspending their services. It's unclear why they did so, but the state told us that the decision was voluntary and the ranch still has a license to operate. Trinity deleted their Facebook and Twitter accounts in the past several weeks, although their website is still active. Trinity didn't respond to NBC News' request for comment. They previously denied allegations of abuse in court filings.
At first, I didn't really believe it. I was skeptical because I think overall with Trinity, it's been a lot of letdown and a lot of disappointment over the years. I think once it finally started to sink in was once like all of our group of girls that we talked to regularly found out and people were like, oh my God, I'm crying. This is amazing.
Although Maggie says she's happy about the news, she thinks more should be done.
I think that the owners of Trinity need to be held accountable for what they did. The damage that they did to me and to at least 100 other girls is still there. They can't undo that.
So, this sad video has a better ending than I could have ever dreamed of. 1 down, hundreds more to go. Thanks for watching, and share this thing. Let's kill this industry that tortures teen children under the name of therapy.